There's been a lot of discussion about the potential death of movie theaters. Obviously, the pandemic in 2020 took things for a massive shift. And then we had, in 2021, Warner Brothers making the horrendous decision to put all of their movies day and date to streaming. And we got a little bit of hope in 2022 and 2023 for a return, but then we saw a quick drop-off in the years following. It doesn't exactly help that flat screens are extremely cheap, and you can have the best sound systems in your house right now. So it just leaves people and theaters wondering, what exactly is it going to take for people to want to reinvest their time and their money into the theaters? And I think Gen Z specifically can help people push in that direction. For starters, we're entering the realm where these corporate suits and these executives are going to have to skew younger and younger in order to make money. Obviously, everybody wants the 4-quadrant film, but you need Gen Z at this point. I mean, what are the biggest movies of the last few years? Barbie, Mario, Minecraft. These movies were always going to make a lot of money because parents and Gen Z remember these things fondly, and they probably have multiple kids that they need to shut the hell up for a while. After that, the next Hollywood trope would be the legacy sequel. That's where they combined an old cast and a favorable IP with the new cast in order to make the audience feel like it's new and fresh ideas. While those movies were always going to appeal to older generations, it's Gen Z that takes it over the edge because we remember those casts from the 600 times the movie played on FX when we were little. We're seeing more frequently that the superhero genre isn't a guaranteed hit anymore, and rightfully so, because they have these massive budgets, but my generation has seen enough of them to last a lifetime. I personally think that my generation is really stupid. I don't think that's a unique thing to say, but it's undeniable that you need us to make that record-breaking money. And it feels like we're craving something new in a way previous generations weren't, at least not at my current age. But before I get into that, I want to acknowledge a huge factor in what actually influences Gen Z to go see a movie in the first place. We aren't relying on articles to tell us whether or not a movie is good. In my case, I get reviews from YouTubers that I trust if I'm skeptical about wasting money or wasting my time. Most people, however, are getting the general consensus from TikTok. Regardless of what you think of that app, it is definitely the guaranteed way to get eyes on your product. Maybe you've heard of the insane numbers that Spider-Man Brand New Day trailers were doing. It garnered an incredible 718.6 million views in one day, which almost doubled that of what Deadpool and Wolverine trailer got. Now, when I first heard those stats, and if you're anything like me, you said the same thing, I'm like, something isn't right here. I know the last one did well, but how the hell does it surpass the previous record by that much? The natural conclusion is that you have to take into account that people are scrolling on these short-form content platforms, whether that be TikTok or YouTube Shorts, and maybe a view is counted even when the person didn't watch it for 5 seconds. The natural counter-argument is obviously that every movie is counted like that. And the answer to that is probably yes. But that just means that more money was put behind having the trailer show up every 10 swipes instead of 20. And that only occurs because we've told Disney in the past that they've had some misses, but No Way Home definitely did the job, and this Spider-Man movie is definitely going to make a lot of money, so we need to put all of our effort behind it. And we're seeing what Gen Z and TikTok are even doing for smaller budget movies, like Obsession recently. As of right now, it has made over $400 million in the total box office, which surpassed Sinners as the highest grossing original film of the decade. Personally, it is by no means a better film than Sinners. Not from the cinematography, from an acting perspective, from a plot perspective, but it has managed to surpass its box office. I know that's immediately going to be taken as me hating on Obsession, but overall, it's a very average movie to me. The defining quality that allowed it to reach those numbers is the fact that Gen Z identified with it so closely. I compare that with another movie that I saw last year in Superman. I went to see that movie with my friend, and afterwards I was telling her that the reason that I enjoyed it so much was because it actually made me feel something. Even though there are cheesy moments and there's a CGI rainbow pixel river at one point, it felt like I was watching something that was going to stand out in my memory for a long time, mostly because of the commitment to character. You have Superman being this almost childish symbol of hope. You have Lois Lane, the relentless reporter. You have Guy Gardner, who's kind of just an asshole. You have Mr. Terrific, who's the emotionally detached one, but somehow he's the only one in the middle of the movie who decides to help his friend. And, at the end, Hawkgirl straight up kills a guy. Some of those characters are in the film for a combined 10 minutes, but they can take on an entirely new life on TikTok because of how much people identified with the character. Another thing that we both pointed out was that the movie was the start of a universe, but it doesn't feel like something that would be homework in a couple of years. Even with the Supergirl cameo at the end, if we didn't already know that we were getting her solo movie, I'd be okay with just that. Now, I think a movie with Superman in the title should at minimum make $100 million, even if it was a fresh pack of ass. Not only has the brand been so tarnished, but we have to fight against a more frugal post-pandemic world. I'm only 22, and I feel like every story from someone my age starts with, I paid X amount of dollars and the shit didn't work or the shit was terrible. We're not doing that for a movie that will be available at home in 45 days. And let's say we're actually interested in seeing it. If we manage to duck the seemingly infinite spoilers, by the time we can actually carve out a date to see it, it's not fucking playing anymore. We train ourselves to not get invested in the first place if it's going to be at home so soon. So if you couple that reality with a middling review from a content creator that we like, it's very apparent why Gen Z isn't as adamant about going to the movies. Now, we can talk about the movies themselves and how they're marketed, but we have to get into Gen Z's role in movie theater etiquette, if such a thing still exists. We have to talk about how no one my age can stand anyone from Gen Alpha. Every generation has negative feelings for those damn kids, but I'm too young to be feeling like there's this much of a gap. Funnily enough, I was just talking to my friend's brother, who is 18 now. This means that when the pandemic hit, he was in the middle of 6th grade. Things didn't return to normal until nearly 2 years later, which means these kids missed out on a lot of crucial development years, and it shows in how they act in public. These kids are on their phone, they're loud as hell, they got TikTok on full blast, they're laughing at the top of their lungs at the most inappropriate moments, and basically just doing whatever they can to be disruptive. I believe that part of the reason why they do this is because they can observe that no one is actually going to stop them. Gen Z has been raised to be non-confrontational because remember what it was like when we were kids. It was still very normal for adults to call you an idiot or even beat your ass if you got too out of line where you were. And let's say for some reason you got into something in your immediate area of where you live, it would be front page news before you even got back to the crib. Now, I'm certainly not suggesting that we need to take it as far as hitting some kid. However, we do need to be able to tell them to shut up and be willing to insult them occasionally. They need routine evidence that that behavior is not acceptable, and they don't get that enough from not only the movie theater employees, but from other people in the crowd. I can thankfully say that I don't have any moments where I've seen the behavior in real life that I see online, but that's mostly because of the days and the times that I go. For example, the way my life has gone in the last 4 years, I've maybe seen 3 movies that weren't on a discount day, which is Tuesday or Wednesdays. In the times where I have gone on the weekends, it was in a low-key theater or in a premium format, so it was extremely unlikely that kids were going to be there in the first place. Like with Deadpool and Wolverine, and I know I keep coming back to that movie, people were going to see it in a premium format, but I doubled up and I saw it in IMAX 3D. So you know that there's only going to be hardcore comic or movie fans in there. In fact, when I went to see Obsession, I was only able to get some of the last seats that were available, and that movie was in its 3rd week. So I'm telling my friend that there's probably going to be a lot of jackasses in there, but thank God there just wasn't. I didn't take into account that while the theater is in New York, it is still in an affluent neighborhood, and you might not even know it's there unless you found it on a map or somebody else told you about it. And thankfully, there are a few other theaters still like that, because honestly, the bar for theater etiquette wasn't even very high in the first place. I mean, there'll be 50-plus-year-old men and women on their phones, screen at maximum brightness, playing some stupid-ass game. And it only dawned on me as I got older how normal it was for people to just leave their garbage in their chairs, if not spread across the floor. These movie theater employees do not get paid enough to be doing all of that extra work. I went to see Sonic 3 in the theater the other day because I didn't see it at the time that it came out. It was 11:30 in the morning, and these employees were in full Minions gear. It wasn't even the opening weekend anymore. Not to mention, you got this poor kid at the front trying for 3 whole minutes to get that shitty 2012 iPad to focus on your QR code when you can scan in. The entire thing is a humiliation ritual. Now, from the way I'm talking about it, it might seem like I don't have any instances where I've been disruptive in a movie theater, and that's simply not true. When I was 14, there was actually 2 such cases. Funnily enough, both of them with the same friend. So in the first instance, we went to see Hereditary, and it was a group of us, but this friend I'm talking about was already a little obnoxious. However, she was fun. So when she started talking loud and laughing at these tense moments, we kind of just joined in with her. I genuinely can't remember if somebody came to us or if I just happened to be in the bathroom when an employee came by. The second occasion was when I was with this friend alone and we went to see Creed 2. We had fun together, like I said, so we're just talking and laughing it up during the movie, and I'm abandoning all my manners and just having a good time. It was only until the final act of the film where this woman sitting next to me leans in and she asks, like, very politely, "Do you mind?" So, I apologized immediately and dialed it down. I knew at the time that I very much deserved a "can you shut the fuck up?" So the woman was being very kind. And I know it sounds like I'm putting the onus on my friend, but I think myself a very reserved person. And it's proof that when you get around a group or a person that you like, it's very easy to do dumb shit that you'd otherwise never do. As you get older, there is not only more self-control within yourself, but your circle gets smaller and the likelihood that you even have an obnoxious friend decreases. I suppose that's what makes it so baffling when people still go to the movies at my age and are basically commentating the movie as it goes along. It's like, bro, there's no other way to describe this other than you're simply too old to be doing that. So at the point of me recording this, there are some big movies on the way in The Odyssey and probably the biggest of the year in Spider-Man Brand New Day. In the case of that second one, it might be a blessing in disguise that I wasn't able to get opening weekend tickets because I am not tolerating any bullshit with that one. If the trailers are any real indication, that movie is very dense and there's going to be some stuff going on with the Hand and maybe Daredevil, who is my favorite character. We don't have to get into it. But no joke, I already know the fit I'm going to put on. It's the summer, so there's a potential for some jackasses to be present. And, it's obviously increased in comparison to the school season. It's really only God that I haven't had any crazy stories because he knows that there's certain things I'm not tolerating at all. I'm not some tough guy, but everybody has the minimum baseline that they're willing to accept from the world, and some of the things that I've seen online at least would put me in jail reacting to it. If anything I said resonated with you, please drop a like and tell me not only your movie horror stories, but what you think that Gen Z can do to bring the movie theaters back. I'll see y'all in the next one.